Continuing with the digestive system, in the last class we have already discussed about the mouth. When we talk about mouth, the three things you have to keep in mind is the whole leaf tongue, teeth and lips. In addition to that, there are digestive glands present in the mouth which are known as salivary glands. These salivary glands produce saliva, and saliva contains the enzyme salivary amylase, which helps in the digestion of starch or carbohydrate. So now what happens is, after your food is chewed and broken down and mixed with the saliva, it is converted into round pieces called bolus, and it moves to the esophagus and into the stomach. In the stomach, it gets mixed with the gastric juice. Now the gastric juice contains HCl. This hydrochloric acid, what it does is, it destroys the bacteria present in the food. In addition to this, it also makes the enzymes active so that it can act on proteins. Like for example, if pepsinogen acts on proteins, pepsinogen on itself cannot break down the proteins into peptides. So what happens is, pepsinogen is first converted into an active form with the help of HCl. Then only it can act on proteins, breaking down into peptides. Then your food passes from the stomach into the small intestine. Now in your small intestine, the food mixes with bile and pancreatic juice. Your bile is produced from the liver, and the pancreatic juice is produced from the pancreas. Now, bile, what does it do is, since in the stomach the food was mixed with an acid, the food had become acidic. So the bile, what it does is, it neutralizes the acidic content of the food. It also converts the fats into emulsified fats, so that emulsified fats can be easily broken down into fatty acids and glycerol. Your pancreatic juice produced from the pancreas also contains various enzymes that help in the breakdown of emulsified fats. So what it means is, bile converts fats into emulsified fats. Pancreatic juice contains enzymes which breaks down the emulsified fats into fatty acids and glycerol. In the earlier case, in the stomach, your proteins have been broken down into peptides and polypeptides. So these peptides are also further broken down into amino acids with the help of enzymes present in the pancreatic juice. So once your digestion happens in the small intestine with the help of bile and pancreatic juice, it is absorbed into the bloodstream with the help of microvilli, which are finger-like projections present in the small intestine. So your small intestine is a unique organ which also serves for digestion as well as absorption. So the broken down food is digested to the microvilli in the small intestine, and from there it is transported to different parts of the body via the blood stream. Then in the large intestine, what happens is, undigested food passes to the anus and is removed as feces. But in the large intestine, one important process occurs, that is reabsorption of water. So now, once the food has been broken down into its various components, like for example, you already know that foods generally contain carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, minerals, etc. So we're just concentrating on carbohydrates, proteins and fats. Carbohydrates are broken down into simpler substances. That means basically monosaccharides like glucose. Proteins, you already know, are broken down into peptides and finally into amino acids. And fats are broken down into fatty acids and glycerol. So that means when you're taking food during digestion, it is broken down into its various components. So when we talk about carbohydrate, let's say the simplest substance is a monosaccharide, that is glucose. Glucose is readily absorbed in the bloodstream and is used to perform various metabolic functions. Because you all remember, glucose in the presence of oxygen, with respiration is broken down to produce energy, that is ATP. So your glucose can be used to produce or perform various functions with the help of ATP. But what happens is, not all the glucose that has been produced during digestion is utilized in making ATP. So what happens is, the excess glucose is stored in the liver in the form of glycogen. So sometimes when you're feeling hungry, or if you haven't taken food for a long time, this glycogen is again broken down into glucose, and which again can be utilized to produce energy. Similarly, when we talk about proteins, it is broken down into amino acids. And amino acids, you all know, are the building blocks of the cell. So basically, when we talk about growth, amino acids are essential. Now again, excess amino acids are broken down in the liver, because not all amino acids are required continuously. So the excess amino acids are broken down into the liver. Fats are again broken down into fatty acids and glycerol. Now your excess of fatty acids and glycerol are stored under the skin. So after digestion, that means breaking down of food, the portions of the food that has been broken down are either utilized for various metabolic functions, or they are stored in the various parts of the body. So liver is a very important storage organ for broken down food substances.